Hello, and thanks for joining us for Consumer Confidential. I'm Vicky Nguyen. Are you ready for a getaway? As the number of COVID cases drop and restrictions lift, many of you who held off on taking that vacation during the last 2 years can finally look forward to traveling again. A recent survey finds more than half of Americans are planning a trip this spring, and with soaring demand comes surging prices too. Expedia says airfares are up a whopping 50% compared to last year, and average hotel rates are nearly 20% higher than they were before the pandemic. So where do travelers plan on going? 3 in 4 say they're heading to a destination in the U.S. For the next 25 minutes, we have your getaway guidebook. From travel hacks to finding deals, and what about those home shares? They're hugely popular. But before you book, what to know and do to ensure you have a safe and fun experience. But first, with the changing masking mandates and the emergence of yet another COVID variant, what to consider as you make your travel plans. This year, it's a new normal for spring break travel. Nearly 2 million people are passing through TSA checkpoints every day, with crowded airports and packed flights back to their pre-pandemic look. But now, everyone will still be wearing a mask.
In an airport, you never know where people are coming from. They may be from areas with higher case rates. It's really historically been an area where infectious diseases that pass through the air can be an issue.
TSA extending its mask mandate on planes and public transportation through Easter weekend. Despite the low COVID infection rates here in the U.S., disease experts say airports and other transport hubs still carry risks.
I encourage travelers to really think about their personal risk factors, their personal risk tolerance they will be visiting or coming home to, and then taking the appropriate levels of precautions to protect everyone.
Record gas prices, another hurdle facing spring travelers. Many road trippers now taking another look at their budget before heading out.
As much as I would love to go in the truck.
Cassandra and her family plan to drive their truck from Wisconsin to Florida this month, but now they're reconsidering which car they'll bring.
It's like, is it really worth it though? Because that's an additional, from what we're looking at so far, $300-400. That's a lot of money.
Luckily for flyers, the rise in fuel prices won't affect your ticket price for at least another few weeks.
In general, we see a lag of a few weeks to a few months generally when fuel prices go up before flight prices go up. That's because airlines buy fuel in advance, so they can afford to keep prices relatively low.
Still, domestic airfares are up 21% compared to last year. The average flight, $290 round trip. So what's the best way to score a last-minute spring break deal? Consider off-peak travel dates. Be aware, hotspots like Miami and Las Vegas will cost more.
Big cities are not quite back to where they were pre-pandemic. So if you want to do a city break in New York City, in San Francisco, in Chicago, you're going to find better hotel prices and you're going to find fantastic flight prices as well.
And Dr. Henry Wu joins us from Atlanta right now. Hey, Dr. Wu, thank you so much for being with us. Let's talk about spring break. It's already underway right now. Summer right around the corner, and a lot of us are dying to get away, planning those trips. How safe is it right now for people to travel at this point in the pandemic?
That's a great question. I think at this point we've learned so much about COVID-19 and the pandemic, how it spreads, and we have so many ways to protect ourselves with our vaccines and all the other tools that we've learned in the last 2 years. I think it's a great time to think about travel and really assess what the risks you're willing to tolerate, but also look forward to really enjoying traveling again.
Dr. Wu, what are some of the key things you should look for when you are picking a destination? Should you be monitoring the infection rates there, for example, or what the testing requirements are?
Certainly. Of course, if you are somebody who is at higher risk of more severe illness, or especially if for whatever reason you're not vaccinated, or maybe you might respond poorly to vaccine, you should be a little careful still of where you're going. Some parts of the world are having rising COVID cases. Certainly that can occur in the U.S., so it's good to keep an eye on that. I would also consider when you're going overseas, is there going to be treatment available if you might have more severe illness? So these are all things I would consider as people plan, and certainly if you do have some risk factors, I would be a little more careful.
Before I let you go, what about mask mandates? A lot of areas have lifted them. So how do you decide when you should be masking, whether you should carry a mask with you? And are there certain scenarios where masking is a good idea still?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think it's, It's great that a lot of these requirements and rules are relaxing, because I think it's important that we increasingly take our own responsibility. We've learned so much of how to protect ourselves. So much like I think about when I'm going to wear a jacket at night, I think about, when is the right situation for me to put on a mask. If I'm in an indoor crowded area, particularly with a lot of people from different households, people I don't know, then I still wear my mask. Certainly when I'm outside and doing something where there's good ventilation or just with people I know, I think we can certainly relax things. If I'm seeing somebody who's at high risk of infection, then I'm going to be extra careful. So I do think it's a good habit. It's certainly quite easy to do. There are situations where I think masking is not a big deal. If I'm going shopping in a store or watching a movie in a theater, then putting on that mask doesn't take away from that experience.
All right, Dr. Wu, thank you so much for the great practical advice. We appreciate you. And coming up, how to snag the best deal for your airfare or where you're staying. Plus, what about staying in a home away from home? Those short-term home rentals are really popular now. What you want to do when you get to that home to ensure everyone has a fun and safe stay. Much more when Consumer Confidential returns. Welcome back to Consumer Confidential's Getaway Guidebook. So after all that time waiting, you finally decided to take a vacation. As we mentioned earlier, travel is expected to reach or exceed pre-pandemic levels. The Points Guy founder and CEO Brian Kelly is here now with how to score the best deals and make the most of our long-awaited R&R. Good to see you, Brian. Thanks so much for talking with us. So first, lots of people packing their bags right now to travel. So where are the top destinations, the hot spots?
Yeah, the hotspots are still domestic because the U.S. still has that rule that you need to test to get back into the country. And for so many travelers, that's just too risky to get stuck abroad or having to even find those tests. So we're seeing huge interest in Florida. I actually was looking to go to Fort Lauderdale this weekend, and I saw hotel rates in the $2,000 and up range. Absolutely crazy. So domestic and close to home, Puerto Rico, Aruba's a top spot. And for those who want culture but don't want to travel too far, we're seeing really great airfares to Colombia as well, top destinations.
Very good. On that note, so you told us where the hot spots are, where people want to go. We're seeing demand for airline and hotel bookings. They're probably going to reach some new highs. So how do we find the best deals? How do we avoid that $2,000 mess you just mentioned?
Absolutely. So book in advance. I'm a last-minute traveler in general, and as you can see with those hotel rates, you can get burned. I'm seeing flights completely sell out a week or so in advance. So in general, book as far in advance as possible. I love using Google Flights. It's free, and it lets you search by 30-day calendar. So in order to sniff out those cheapest deals, be flexible. Try not to leave on the Thursday and Sunday like everyone else wants to do for weekend trips. But deals can be had. Also, stay active on social media. I follow Scott's Cheap Flights and the Flight Deal. They'll tweet out really great deals all day long. When you see one, book it right away. You've got, in general, 24 hours to cancel a ticket free of charge. So lock in the good fare. Don't sit there and think about it because these fares come and go quickly. We've even seen $220 from the West Coast to Hawaii, which is a screaming deal.
That's flaming hot. Okay, so let me talk about this. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, 62 million travel-related jobs disappeared in 2020. 62 million. What kind of jobs are we talking about? How many have come back? And what does that mean for travelers? Like, what are we going to see, that we may not be accustomed to?
Yeah, if you haven't traveled over the last 2 years, you might be in for a shock. Most mid-level and lower hotels now, you're not going to get the full service that you used to, the daily housekeeping. A lot of hotels will make you request that. Gyms and fitness facilities might be, at minimal levels. So when you're looking at, should I splurge on a hotel or should I do a vacation rental? First, understand and see what you're actually getting at the hotel, because so many of those frontline jobs, hotels are really just running on minimum capacity. You might not see room service. A lot of hotels have gotten rid of mini bars. So I recommend to everyone, do a little bit of research, make sure you understand the perks that you're going to get, and make your reservations in advance. Just showing up and trying to get into hotels or even theme parks or national parks, some of them require reservations. So as much as I hate to say it, try to plan as far in advance as possible.
Good to know what to expect. And quickly now, vaccine passports, those are on the rise, and they're sort of confusing to understand. So talk about what they are exactly, and then do we need to get them? How do we get them before we travel?
Yeah, so I'm going to Costa Rica this weekend, and most governments will have websites where you can upload your vaccine card or recent test, and what they'll do is give you a QR code so that when you enter the country, you don't have to worry about having papers printed out. Some countries are sticklers about paper tests, though, so don't have things loaded in your email on your phone. You may not be able to get access to a phone, so do print out all of the QR codes and the negative tests. But in general, if you're traveling abroad, just look up the country, go directly to the country site. Usually you're going to have to do what's called a passenger locator form so the government knows where you are in case you do test positive. But a lot of countries are relaxing the rules. Dubai, the UK, even Costa Rica now, if you're vaccinated, you can travel pretty freely. So it varies by country. So make sure you do that little bit of research. Don't assume every country is going to let you in with a negative test, because some might not.
Brian Kelly, the Points Guy, bringing so much great practical information for us. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thanks for having me. Safe travels.
Now, a big part of your trip, where will you stay? Whether it's a quick getaway, a long-term stay, popular option now, home shares. They're booked through popular sites like Airbnb and Vrbo. But before you say yes, what you need to know to ensure you have a safe and fun time.
Cooped up no longer. People are planning their getaways, beaches, mountains, deserts, and everything in between. And a record number of travelers now staying in home shares rented from sites like Airbnb and Vrbo. They're so popular, demand for vacation rentals is expected to increase by 14% this year.
I booked a home share because everything is in there. They have kitchen, they have beach supplies that you can use. It's pretty much has everything.
They're super pumped. Can't wait to go. My kids love the beach.
One of the biggest perks of using a home share, the ability to rent something you might not otherwise get to experience.
Before the pandemic, I toured this beautiful vacation home on Nantucket Island in Massachusetts. Jeremy Gall is the CEO of Breezeway, a company that helps property managers maintain quality and safety standards for vacation rentals.
What's the advantage of using a home share?
Two big things. There's so much space and the property is so unique. So you get to really enjoy something that's different than when you stay in a hotel.
When you first get to a home, what should you be looking for?
Yeah, you're going to walk in, you're going to want to unpack, everybody's excited, but the first thing you should do is just orientate yourself and get aware about the property. Here's a good example. Here's where the fire extinguisher is, and emergency numbers and contact information.
And what about those chemicals under the sink?
Don't expect there's going to be safety latches on these properties, but if you're traveling with little kids, just be aware and make sure these are all taken care of. Maybe take the time to move them up. In a home, pay particular attention to the smoke detector outside the kitchen. Prior guests might have cooked something smoky and pulled the batteries.
When renting an entire home, consider the unfamiliar features, especially at night.
The #1 accident at vacation homes are trip and fall hazards. This property has a nightlight, but it's always a good idea to bring one with you.
I love this room. I see it has a bunk bed. A lot of home shares have bunk beds. What are the safety tips around bunk beds?
Popular option, kids under 6 shouldn't be in the top bunk.
So this is something a lot of people might not have in their own home, a huge balcony like this with this kind of view.
Yeah. Amazing. If you have a balcony like this, you want to look at 3 things: the height, the stability, and the gaps in between the balusters to make sure it's not too wide.
Yeah, good idea if you have kids, and also pets.
Yeah, pets is a really good point.
And pools can be fun, but
a lot of times the pools don't have any kind of fencing around them.
No, this is wide open and there's really easy access. So a couple things to keep in mind. One, if you're traveling in a group, designate one adult who's going to be in charge of pool safety.
Okay.
The other thing to do is check with the manager, make sure you understand how the pool cover works so you can open and close it and keep it closed when you're not using it.
And with a kitchen, you have the option to cook meals and make drinks at home. Over multiple days, that can add up to even more savings. Simple tips so you can enjoy your time in a home away from home.
And both Airbnb and Vrbo have stringent cleaning guidelines. You can still ask the homeowner what they're specifically doing between each guest. Some actually request you bring your own linens, so be sure to ask before you travel. When we come back, save on your travel essentials, plus what to look for when you're shopping for new luggage, and your travel hacks, tricks so you can make the most out of your suitcase space, and how to avoid overpacking. Guilty. Your getaway guidebook returns on Consumer Confidential. When preparing for a getaway, there are certain travel essentials we should all have on our checklist, like the right luggage and clothes for the destination. But you don't want to break the bank. With inflation and surge pricing, traveling on a budget has become more important than ever. Here to share her vacation savings strategy is shopping expert Trey Bodge. Trey, it's so good to see you in person.
Yes, I love it. Thank you for having me.
We were just joking because for a lot of us, we haven't dusted off any of our travel stuff in a couple of years. You open things up, you're like, does this luggage zipper even work? So let's start there. That's the big, most expensive item typically. What do we need to know before we consider new luggage?
Right. So you might need new luggage now. Your zipper might be broken. The wheels might be broken. So let's think about a few things. Think about what's happening inside the luggage. How is it organized? Do they have wheels? Is there a lock? All of that good stuff. Now there are eco-friendly options as well. So those are good things to think about. And then I also love multifunctionality. So this set is from Brandless, and it's made out of eco-friendly materials. It comes with packing cubes, a collapsible backpack, all sorts of good stuff inside, wheels, lock. So that's a really good one, and it's on sale, deeply, deeply discounted right now through May. So definitely check that out. And then, for instance, multifunctionality. This is from Great Useful Stuff. This is the Weekender bag, duffel, unfolds into this whole thing in the closet of your Airbnb or your
So you can
hotel.
hang it up and see everything, and they're like little shelves.
How great is that, right?
Good. Yeah.
And then this is the Tom Talk Sling. I love this one because it fits way more than you think, and you can sling it, fanny pack it, put around your back, so super multifunctional there as well. So that's like the luggage category, all super multifunctional.
So think about things that can do more than one thing. And what about hard-sided versus soft-sided? Is that just a preference?
It's a preference, and I actually like hard-sided better, but be careful of the weight. Check it before you buy it, because sometimes they tend to be heavy.
Ah, that's good to know, and you don't want that when you have to lug it around or put it into the compartment above you.
Right.
All right, let's switch over to shoes and clothing. And you have some really cool options, brands I haven't heard of, and also they have cool features.
Absolutely. So a couple options here. These are Kizik sneakers, and what I love about these is that you wear them, you go through security in the airport, you take them off, and then you can put them right in your feet. You don't have to bend down, you don't have to reach. This pops right back up, and you are ready to go.
There's
and
actually little instructions there,
little instructions. So innovative and cool. And plus, I think these are really stylish. You can wear them on the airport, to restaurants, to meetings. So really good there. And then Rothy's, and you were commenting on these driving shoes.
Yes,
these
so comfortable.
are so comfortable. They're made of fabric, and what I love about them is that they can go in the wash. So if they get dirty, they get sweaty. Really multifunctional, and lots of men's and women's styles as well. And then for jackets. So I love something that's packable. So just in case you're going somewhere cold.
I always get cold on the plane. Even if you're going to a tropical place, they keep the plane so cold. So you want something, these look very lightweight actually.
So they're super lightweight. They're from Uniqlo, and they have all different styles. My favorite is the long one because you can use that as a blanket on the plane. But then it also packs down into its own little pouch, super compact.
I've seen that.
And
It's
very budget
light.
friendly. I've had that long one for about 5 years. And so they really, really hold up.
This is all Uniqlo?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So this is great. I like that because they do different things and you only need one piece to go with you.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let's talk about tech. Are there little things that'll just make the flight more, enjoyable, or the ride wherever you're going? What kinds of new tech should we be considering?
Yeah, so lots of cool things here. So first of all, you want a multifunctional charger, so you can use it on the airplane. You can use it in the airport, hotels. You have lots of outlets. So this is from Travel Candy. I love this one. This is an international traveler, so you can use all sorts of international plugs in it. It has lots of USB holes and a long 5-foot cord that wraps around the body. So for me, I've been using mine for about 4 years. I absolutely love it, so that for sure. And then something to think about with tech, you might have your wireless earbuds. They may not work on the plane, so you want to get a pair of wired. And so JLab has some really good over-ear ones. They fold. Panasonic has some good ones, and these actually have a microphone in them as well, and they're like $11. They're on sale right now, so make sure to get that so you can use the audio on the plane.
Yes, you're right, because you can't depend on the Bluetooth connection.
Exactly.
Trey Bodge with some really cool new products that will really help us now that we're traveling again. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, next up, travel hacks, how to make the most of the clothes you bring and how to pack them to avoid all those annoying wrinkles. We will see you when Consumer Confidential's Getaway Guidebook returns. And And now that you've made your vacation plans and hopefully saved some money, it is time to pack. And whether you're flying or driving, you certainly can't bring your entire wardrobe. But not to worry, lifestyle expert Maureen Petrosky has some simple tips to make sure you have what you need and that you still look good. Now, Maureen, when it comes to packing for a vacation, I feel like the first thing people do is they overpack, they bring too many things, they don't know what they need to bring and leave at home. So what should we consider before we even pull the luggage out?
The key to not overpacking is to plan ahead, and for me that means creating an itinerary. So I just got back from Rome 2 days ago.
Wow.
This is my actual itinerary. It doesn't have to be as formal, but you'll see I have the days and what I'm actually doing. So then I have a reference for what I need to pack for. If you stick to your plan, you're going to have much less in here. So you're not just throwing in all your favorite dresses or all your favorite things.
Right.
So you've got your days there. And then second thing is those shoes.
They take up so much room. Can I just tell you, my husband wears a 14, and by the time you put one pair in, you're like, okay, there goes that carry-on.
Well, I've got a 3-pair limit. That's
okay.
Okay. 3 pairs is the tops. So you look at your itinerary, you see what shoes you need 3, and then you've got to work around that. So you stick to those 3 pairs of shoes.
So it's like a walking pair, maybe sandals.
Exactly.
And what else?
And sandals and flats could maybe go in your carry-on.
Okay.
If you're flying somewhere.
Okay.
But for maybe your sneakers, definitely bring a change of shoes because we're doing a lot of walking. Even your most comfortable shoes can give you blisters. But so 3 pairs of shoes, and then make sure that you wear something more than once. So you can rewear things. For me, it's my travel dress. I wear it on the first day I travel and the day home.
I like that. Yeah.
So you've got that twice. And then really
double duty
is accessorizing. So you'll see we've got hats and scarves and big beads. So
and these don't take up room.
No,
so you can change the look and it's still small.
Squeeze them right into your shoes, into your creases and crevices in here.
So this is 7 days and 7 nights. You literally just unpacked a bag like this. This is real life.
This is real life. This is what I really repacked. And so the key when I say accessorize is to think a little bit outside of the box. This for me is an accessory. So this black and white shirt is over top of my travel dress.
Oh, look at you,
so
layers.
You can wear a black dress, and then I can wear that out at night with some beads and something a little more formal. And then I can throw it on a t-shirt over a dress.
What about making sure all this stuff doesn't end up all wrinkly? People talk about the rolling method, but I've seen another technique that you do, and I love it.
So the key for me is, and also keeping me organized when I'm traveling, is that I roll according to my day. So this is a whole outfit here.
Everything.
Everything.
Soup to nuts, as they would say.
So that's what's in there. So I've got my sweater, my jeans, my scarf, my
unmentionables.
And then I also will go back and refer to my itinerary so I know what day I'm wearing what. Especially if you're traveling for work and you've got to go back to back to back, or you've got kids and you're packing them too.
Yeah, I like that. It's like Monday, here are your outfits. Here you go. Take a roll.
And don't overthink it. When you're at home with the kids, do they wear 7 pairs of pants a day?
No.
I mean, a week?
Oh my God. Right,
or 7 shirts? No, they do
and
not.
they don't need to. Well, so can I unwrap?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're going to show us how you do this, but you actually put the shirt and the skirt together. Oh my gosh, this is great.
There it is. And then the great thing about rolling is that it really keeps it from wrinkling less. You're never going to get rid of all of the wrinkles, but you're going to get rid of some of them. And the kids can roll too. So even though I've got my itinerary, if your kids are old enough to walk and talk, they can help pack. And if they're old enough to read, even better. This is 7 days at the beach. I just tell them, go grab this, and then it cuts down on your time too, and no more stress.
Okay, very good. So let's talk about the important carry-on, because that's the thing that you need to have with you in case this gets lost, God forbid.
Absolutely.
But what should we have in our carry-on that makes the trip more enjoyable?
First and foremost, I always use a backpack. Keeps your hands free.
Yes.
So backpack is great. And then the items you need immediate access to, your identification, your money, your phone, they go right here into a tiny little over the shoulder from me. So don't put that in your backpack.
Got it.
Backpack hands free. In your backpack, a few really important things. I do have another pair of sandals there. They're well worn, as you can see, but that is an easy pair of shoes you can slide in. If you're doing an overseas trip, sometimes there's feet swelling. That's a great thing to have easy access to. A hooded sweatshirt. Gets cold on a plane, you can go back and forth. A scarf is another great item to keep.
It's like a blanket too.
And it's tiny. It doesn't take up a lot of space. Of course you need your electronics.
Yes.
It's important to have all your chargers and things, but always have something that is not electronic and something to keep the kids engaged. So I've got Mad Libs here, a deck of cards, a book for myself to read. But more importantly, traveling can be stressful. So make sure that you I pack myself a little self-care kit.
I love that little mask.
I've got eye masks in there. I've got some fancy hand sanitizer. This one smells like lavender, so it relaxes me a little bit in the high stress moments. And then my little jade roller or your rose quartz roller. These are things that can really
small, and it makes a big difference, yeah?
And it can take just one deep breath. Travel can be a little difficult and a little stressful, but remember, just you're having fun. You're packing to go somewhere. And of course, snacks.
Yes, always snacks.
My next there.
This is awesome, Maureen. Thank you so much. I can't wait to incorporate some of these on our next vacation because I'm definitely going to use some of your tips. Thank you. Good to see you. Well, that is our time for now. I'm Vicky Nguyen, and for all of us here at NBC News, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you on another edition of Consumer Confidential on Today All Day. In the meantime, safe travels.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.